in the FSU Turnbull Conference Center, which is where we had it last year. Um, Sorry about that. Um, so if you don't remember, hopefully you will, but it's that great big space over near the FSU campus and the Civic Center. There's plenty of free parking available, so do drive over. It's a little bit of you definitely can walk to and from the Capitol from the Turnbull Center, but it's about 3/4 of a mile and there are hills involved. So totally up to you. Judge that as you will, but we look forward to seeing you bright and early. The registration opens as early as 7, so you can check in as early as that, but the programming starts right at 8 a.m. So before you get here, this is the things we're going to go over. We're going to talk about some things you can do right now this week to prepare for your trip to make sure that it's the most of it. We're going to talk you through what's going to happen on the 17th in Tallahassee, helping you navigate the capital a little bit, and then talk a little about some things that you can do to follow up when you get home and get back into town so that you really get the biggest bang for your buck coming into Tallahassee. So before you get here, the biggest thing is you need to make your appointments with the members of your delegation. So those are your House and Senate members. And if you don't know who they are, or you need their contact information, you just go to the representative site online, or you can go to the Senate site online. And both of those have great and easy to use websites so that you can look up who your senators are, who their aides are, and all of those email addresses, because you'll need that when you try to email to schedule an appointment. Um, so if you can't, for whatever reason, find their email, then this is the um, secret squirrel way of emailing them. This is the standard format that both the House and the Senate use. So take a quick snap of this page if you don't already know it. Um, and that way you'll have an opportunity to email them if you can't find it through their main website. And so when you set up that appointment, I want to make sure you include their aide. This is really important. I know sometimes when we're coming to Tallahassee, we want to make sure to meet with the legislators, but their aides are really important in making sure that you get in, that they have the right information, and all of those things. You know, your aides are important to you, making sure that you have all the updates, just the same that their aides are really important to them. So I also want to bring on Jeff Scala here. Jeff is one of our legislative lobbyists. He does a great job for us in the environmental and tech arenas, but I'm going to ask him today just to talk a little bit on his impression of just what the halls of the Capitol is like sometimes. So on this topic particularly, Jeff, any hints or tricks on making that appointment with the legislators to make sure they get in?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Cragin. It's legislative session is a marathon and both a sprint, and it is a bit of a controlled chaos that the aides are managing for the senators and representatives. And for those meetings, you're going to want to, this is the perfect time to set up those meetings right now. And they still don't know what the legislative calendar looks like up until maybe Monday of next week. So get those meeting requests in, CC those aides, follow up with those aides. They're going to be happy to get you on the calendar with the members. And if not, you'll be in with staff who will relay all of that information to them. Stop by their office as well. If you have time, if you don't have a meeting, they typically will make time for elected officials who do travel up to Tallahassee.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff, so much for that. So when you're getting ready for this meeting, you want to make sure that you have the information that's available with you. So a lot of the counties, you probably may have already voted on what your individual county legislative priorities are. So obviously you want to bring those with you. When you get to Tallahassee at the briefing, FAC will give you a one pager of the biggest bills that are up and getting talked about and that we hope you'll talk about with your legislators. But if you want to look now, you can go to factpolicy.com on our website. All of our policy positions are there. We have a bill tracker, and even better, we have a preemption tracker. So it lets you know all the preemptions that have been filed to date and what's going on with those. So it's a really great resource for you to be able to get up, find all the information and more than you could ever possibly want. So once you've got those meetings scheduled, um, how do you get around town and find your way? So let's talk about the morning a little bit. So we're going to start, like I said, registration starts at 7 at the Turnbull Center. The legislative briefing is at 8. And then you have the rest of the day for those legislative appointments. We'll be done at 10:30. And so that's a great opportunity for you to have those legislator appointments. And then also our reception starts at 5:30. So one of the things I wanted to tell you about this year that we're doing that we haven't done in the past is during the briefing from around 7:30 to 10:30, we're going to have about 18 different tabletops of mostly agencies that'll be available to talk to you if you have specific one-on-one questions that you want to ask those agencies. So DOT, I think, will be there, the Department of Economic Opportunity, and there's several others that'll be there. So if you have questions about BEAD funding and broadband, or if you have questions on environmental permitting or anything like that that's specific to your area, there's going to be representatives from those agencies there that can talk to you one-on-one and help you get some of that information. So we hope that'll be a great opportunity too to bring some of Tallahassee to you directly. So that'll be going on during the entire time we're at the Turnbull Center as well. Then after the brief, so here's give you a sense of where we are in downtown. Obviously, bring your map because there's lots of walking, but see, this is the Turnbull Center right here in comparison to where the Capitol is. Like I said, that's about a 3/4 of a mile walk, but there's plenty of parking all around that's available. Some of it free, some of it not. It just depends. And then FAC offices are just 2 blocks from the Capitol down this way. And you are always welcome in our offices. We'll have lots of hospitality. We have a private office if you need to meet or make a phone call. We have lots of snacks on hand if you just need a break and want to put up your feet for a minute. So we hope you'll stop by the offices and say hi during your day if you have time. So during the briefing, we're excited to welcome back some of the agency heads, including Commissioner Wilton Simpson from the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. He was with us last year, and I know he'll have a lot of updates on the things that they've been working on in DAX and some of the challenges that they're facing. Following that, we're going to have Secretary Perdue. He's been a great friend of the associations. He's with the Florida Department of Transportation. And I know he'll be able to give us an update on some of the big projects that they're working on, some of the challenges that they're facing, and ways that they're interfacing with our counties. And then finally, we're going to have the Department of Environmental Protection, Sean Hamilton, available. We're really excited to welcome him back to the stage. I know that he'll do a great job of talking about some of the big projects DEP is working on, and again, other ways that they can continue to work with counties. We do expect to add some folks to this lineup, but as Jeff mentioned, we don't yet know what the schedule is for next week. So we'll have to wait a little bit before we can confirm some of our legislator speakers, but we do expect to have a couple of legislators that'll be able to brief you more specifically on the session as well. And then, of course, our very own Bob McKee, who's the Deputy Director of Public Policy, will be available to brief you on the talk sheet that we give you, those big bills that we expect to be up or that we hope that you'll talk about and include in your dialogue with legislators to address any concerns or support that we may have on any of that legislation. So Bob will be available to update you on all of that. So, the most important thing around town is eating. Tallahassee is known for its great food, and I'm not sure that's true actually, but we do have great food, so we should be. But there's lots of opportunities to grab a snack, grab a meal right around the Capitol and within walking distance. So we hope you'll take advantage of all of our good eateries, including Metro Deli, who occupies the lower floor of the back offices. So we get to enjoy Metro a lot. It's a good local favorite. Um, and then after lunch, you got to get around the Capitol and head to those meetings. So here is a map of the Capitol. It can be a little daunting to get in. The majority of the meetings will either be in those four buildings that you see: the Capitol, the Senate office building, the House office building, or the Knott building. That's where the majority of your meetings will be. The majority of legislators are housed in the Capitol itself. And then but still some in the Senate and House office buildings. And then the Knott building has a lot of the larger committee meetings as well. So this is a great little map if you have your trouble finding your way around as well. Be prepared to go through security when you come into the Capitol. You will have to go through a scanner and just kind of like you're at the airport, put your bags, all that stuff on a belt so that you can be scanned for security purposes. So just give yourself a little bit of extra time knowing that you're going to have to go through that process when you come over to the Capitol. So let's talk a little bit about those legislator meetings. Jeff, I want to bring you back in. It can be a little hairy during session. So do you have any tips or tricks for them when they're coming into that office to meet with their legislator and have that appointment? What should they expect?
Like I said earlier, it's going to be controlled chaos, and there's going to be a lot of things on their agenda that day, committee meetings to get to. But when you're in the room, you know that you have their attention, and the best thing you can do, it's right there on the first bullet, is to make sure that you communicate your message very straightforward in 60 seconds. And also, staff, as well as the members, love a leave behind, something that tells them exactly why you're there and what your positions are. These are things that they hold on to and reference later on. So making sure you have a one-page document, one pager, for your talking points or your county's priorities is essential to keeping them in the loop. You know, letting them know, you know, asking for their cell phone numbers, staff cell phone numbers, so that when it comes to later in the session, that you can communicate with them as the chaos continues.
That's great, Jeff. Thank you so much. And that's a great point on the leave behind. We usually give you guys a few extra copies of our leave behind so that you can leave that behind when you're headed to those meetings as well. So you'll have that one pager that we provide you for your reference as well as to provide for those legislator meetings. Um, so also, if you're trying to find a certain bill number, both of that, all that information is on the House and the Senate website. I included a picture of the very top bar of their website, and you can see you put in that bill number. But Jeff, how do they find a bill if they don't have a bill number? Did I stump you? Did I stump you? I stumped Jeff. Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Sorry, didn't mean to stump you there. And then also, you're going to have an opportunity if you want to testify in committee. If a bill that's important to your county is up in committee and you want to have an opportunity to testify, we'd love for you to do that. Please do so. But you do have a process that you have to go through. So there's an appearance record that you have to sign out. That form is in the back of every committee room. You just fill that out. There'll be a sergeant right there. From someone from the sergeant's office, not necessarily a police sergeant, but someone from the sergeant's office that's there to take that record. So Jeff, I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Any tips or tricks for testifying in committee? What should they know about that?
And I just want to check. Can you hear me, Craigan? I
Yes,
see
now,
some message.
yeah, we can. Thank
Okay.
you. Sorry about that, Jeff.
Um, Testifying in committee, again, there are going to be a lot of things on the agenda. Sometimes they are limited on the amount of testimony that can be offered. Sometimes it's 30 seconds. So make sure to hit that singular point or top couple of points, to not repeat what previous speakers have already said on a bill. And again, to tell your local story, you know, especially as local elected officials, you have a unique story to tell on the issues.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff, so much. Appreciate that. So after your long day of briefings and meetings, we hope you'll join us to relax at the Governor's Club, which is in walking distance to the Capitol. Very easy to get to from downtown Tallahassee, very accessible, and we welcome all of you guys. And in fact, the legislators are all invited as well. They've all received formal invitations. So when you're having those legislative meetings, please feel free to invite them again, reiterate that invitation, encourage them to come. They're far more likely to come if they know they're going to see a friend and a friendly face there. So we'd love for you to extend that invitation to our reception to them as well. Everybody's welcome. Everyone needs a good cocktail at the end of the day. Um, so that's the end of your day. It is one day, but it is a very full day. It's a really busy day, and you're going to get the most out of that day when you have those legislative appointments. So we hope that you get those scheduled this week so that you're ready to hit the ground running when you get into Tallahassee. But that day doesn't end. The productivity of this day doesn't end when you leave town. There's a lot of things that you can do to add to this day. And the first is, maybe we're just still a Southern state, but sending a thank you. Just a quick email or text to let the legislators know that you appreciate their time, appreciate the access and the open door. Everybody wants gratitude. We certainly can appreciate that. You guys all know what it's like to sit at the dais and have people yell at you all day. So when someone takes a moment to say thank you, it means a lot. So really encourage you to drop that email or the text. Also, share your time with constituents. Let them know what you are doing. I think this is a really great benefit that they receive from your service when you're in Tallahassee and lobbying on their behalf and on your community's behalf. So it's a great opportunity to share that with them. And then I encourage you to maintain the relationship, which means when the legislators come home, this is a short session. It's only 60 days out of a 365-day year. So when they're in Tallahassee isn't the only time to meet with them. So I hope you'll follow up with this relationship, take them to lunch, meet with them regularly. It will really make these meetings continue to grow and be more beneficial in the future, the stronger relationship you have. And of course, I wouldn't be our comms director if I didn't encourage you to tag FAC in all of your social media posts. Let us know what you're doing so that we can share those as well. And so it's a really quick webinar. That's all we have for you today, but this is a great opportunity. If you have any questions on things I didn't cover, if you have specific questions on legislation, I'm glad I have Jeff here. He can answer that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or unmute yourselves and ask away. When you guys are quiet, that means I did a great job, right?
So,
Oh, Commissioner Constance. Yes, sir.
Cragin, hey, it's Chris. Constance, you did do a great job. I've never heard you say invite them to the event, and I think that's a great idea. You know, we see them all the time. I know the invite is out, but I think that personal touch is very important. So we'll we do that. And then I got an email from our local Republican group, and I was kind of taken aback by this, but I'm just curious if you're aware, the Florida Republican Assembly and some of these other groups are saying that their lobby days in Tallahassee are January 16th and 17th. So there are other groups that are going to be up there trying to see our legislators at the same time. Just make everybody aware of that.
Oh yeah, 100%. It is never exclusively a FAC day. There is always a lot of folks milling about, and that's part of why Jeff uses the word controlled chaos, because they have so many people coming in and out of their offices. But you have an advantage that nobody else has, which is you are from their constituency. They are your representative, and you share constituents as both elected officials. So I think that will give you a great in and opportunity to meet with your delegation members, especially. But thank you so much,
No,
Commissioner.
agree.
Yeah, I
To
realized
share
today that we had never
this,
necessarily told you guys that we invited the legislature. So I'm glad we did that, and thank you. Please do extend that invitation. Any other questions?
Great job, Cragin.
Aw, thank you so much, Commissioner Meyer.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week. Looking forward to it. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. See ya. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Maybe doing something tomorrow. Yeah.
Chris, can you end the webinar? My